But this is another Guy Ritchie film, right?
No, it's not. It's not Snatched.
Sequel to Snatch.
It's Snatched.
It's the best I've got, Phil.
So Snatched is the newest film from Amy Schumer. She did Trainwreck, that one with Bill Hader. It was quite a lot of attention because it seemed to kind of flip the normal rom-com dynamic, and instead the girl was the bit of a mess and the guy was sort of the dashing hunk that she was trying to win over. And in this film, she is starring alongside Goldie Hawn, who apparently is a bit of a comedy legend. She's sort of always done these little rom-com sort of fun little adventure films alongside quite big stars. But she hasn't done one for a long time. It's been 15 years since she was last on the screen, and she's decided to come back. Amy Schumer insisted that Goldie Hawn be her co-star in this film. She wasn't going to do the project without Goldie Hawn, and she's agreed, and here they are. They're playing mother and daughter, and what has happened basically is Amy Schumer's life has sort of fallen apart. She's a bit of a slob, and she can't seem to keep her job, and she has decided to buy non-refundable tickets to Ecuador. She's really excited about going to Ecuador with her boyfriend, but lo and behold, her boyfriend breaks up with her, and she's bought these non-refundable tickets. So what on earth could she do?
I wonder.
But go with her mother. She decides to go with her mother. Goldie Hawn is a bit of a sort of paranoid safety freak, very nervous, and doesn't like going abroad, but because it's non-refundable, she decides to go along with her daughter. And so they go to Ecuador, and Amy Schumer, of course, wants to have fun. She wants to make the most of it, make sure that everyone on her Instagram account knows how much fun she's having. And Goldie Hawn is a bit nervous and a bit sort of apprehensive. But they then get snatched, hence the title, by some people who abduct them and kidnap them for money, and it's then their adventure as they try and escape the Ecuadorian jungle and make it back home.
See, I think that's quite a solid premise, if you can get the jokes in, to be honest.
Well, let me play a clip first before we get into the movie and what it's like. Here is the clip, in fact, when her boyfriend decides to break it off with her.
I want to focus on you and me on the beach. Are you with me?
I can't go to South America.
What are you talking about?
I can't go to Ecuador.
You know it's a non-refundable trip, right? I mean, I don't want to make it about money because money comes and goes, but I don't have any more coming right now, so it's
I'm breaking up with you.
When?
Like, right now. This is it. You're in the middle of it.
You don't want to lose us. You don't want to lose
No, I
this.
don't. No, just no. All right, this is the thing. You don't have any direction in life.
What does that mean?
It means you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything.
Okay, you know what? I am so sorry, honestly, but I'm sorry, but I want to see other people.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you're great, but I have a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I'm heartbroken.
So there you go. Maybe you laughed. I didn't. But anyway.
It's a bit mean, but keep going.
This film is written by the same person who did the Ghostbusters reboot. You know that Kate Dippold. And it's directed by Jonathan Levine or Levine, not sure.
Yeah, one of those.
He's the guy who did 50-50, that Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt film, kind of a serious dramatic comedy. So he's got a bit of a comedy background, and he's directing this film. I hated this film. utterly hated it. I do not think it has any redeeming qualities to it whatsoever.
Do you know, that's a shame.
It's a shockingly poorly made film. The cast is atrocious. Goldie Hawn, I don't know why she came back for this film at all. I cannot see any sort of quality to it. It's such an old trope. It's such an old situation for a comedy to happen. You think it'd be easy to do. You think somebody with her experience would kind of be able to sense whether or not there's the life to this idea or not, because it's a done thing. Amy Schumer, I think, is utterly unrelatable and unlikable. The whole film is just underwritten so that you just despise her.
Really?
I think there's nothing really likable about her. She's obnoxious, she's oblivious, and you just don't, there's no kind of character to her. She is just playing herself. She's playing, I don't know if you've seen any of her stand-up or anything like that.
No, I haven't.
She likes sort of going gross out and sort of mentioning her private parts, and that's why she's got a lot of attention.
There was a bit of that in Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah, so that sort of vibe. And there's just no performance to her whatsoever, and you've got an unlikable character that's underwritten. You get no reason why you would root for her. And then there's no chemistry between the two of them either. You don't really get why they have any sort of bond. You don't really get why she would be upset about taking her mother to Ecuador. She seems to act like it's the most vile thing ever. but that's never really explained. People seem to act like that's something really embarrassing, but I know plenty of people who have gone on holiday with their mums.
I'm going on holiday with my parents later this year, Phil.
Exactly. I just don't get it. Like, they present it as if it's this awful thing that's shameful, going on parents with your holiday, but I think that's one of the most regular things you might do over the course of your life. I cannot think of it.
That's kind of a classic. I mean, this is why I said I think it sounds like a solid premise. It's classic. There's an embarrassing parent who tags along on a holiday, and you feel a bit, ooh. And especially when she was planning to go with her boyfriend. Instead, she's been dumped, so she has to take her mum. That's like, episodes of Frasier where his date cancels at the last minute and he has to take along his manager. It's not trying to be serious. I think it sounds like a solid premise, but it sounds like they've failed it.
They just seem to miss the point of it or how to present it, because her mum seems fine.
Okay.
She seems very nice. She seems like she cares about her kids, and for whatever reason, Amy Schumer just hates her and thinks she's awful and is constantly trying to ditch her and trying to go out and just find men to sleep with, and it just put me off right from the get-go, and it's not funny enough. Not even remotely funny. I don't think I laughed at any point during the film.
Well, because you and I both saw a trailer when we went to watch Alien Covenant, I think, and I remember laughing. There's one gag where she's holding a guy up at gunpoint and she says, look, I will shoot. I'm going to count down and I will shoot, because they're trying to threaten him. And then she says, right, 100, 99, and I think that's funny. I think that's pretty witty.
You laughed at that. I didn't laugh at that in the trailer, but
Okay.
weirdly the trailer made the film look like it had some sense of humour to it, but it's not my sense of humour by any means, and I just cannot imagine anyone finding it funny to the point of being a comedy film. Maybe they might find it a little bit amusing, they might sort of smile at some things that have been said, but I don't think it's got any charm or surprise or ingenuity to what's being said. And the structure is just completely meandering and pointless. It's only an hour and a half. I've never felt like a film's taken longer to watch in my life.
Dear.
I was so tedious, so tedious. And it's a little bit offensive as well,
Really?
I might say.
Okay.
Because you've got these two white women who basically act like everyone around them is sort of nasty and untrustworthy because they're not white, because they're in South America. And so you sort of this bizarre, ugly side to what should be an inoffensive film becomes this vulgar piece of work, I think.
Oh dear. I mean, you're really making it sound atrocious, I've got to say. I'm expecting an E or an F grade, or D, I suppose.
It would be close to... I do want to say there are some things which I think could begin to start redeem it in some fashion, maybe a little bit. They call up a US sort of embassy type person who gives them advice, and then her brother has to talk to him, and that begins to sort of show some promise, but it doesn't matter to the film. It's pointless, and plot threads are raised and then dropped. Joan Cusack is in this film.
Is she?
She literally says nothing.
Well, and not a word.
I mean, her character doesn't have a tongue, but she says nothing, and she contributes nothing to the story.
See, now that's a real failure, because one of her great strengths is her voice selling and her delivery of stuff.
But even her faces can be quite funny. She's a charismatic comedian, and she's utterly pointless to the story. She's really pointless. She's got a sort of maybe lesbian partner, Wanda Sykes, in the film as well.
Okay.
And there's some sort of military background to their characters. They're not used. They mention it,
I like
they don't
Wanda
use
Sykes.
it.
Is she not funny in it? She's shaking his head.
Sorry,
we're on a podcast.
I forgot. I'm so disappointed by this film. I forgot I needed to speak.
Right.
I think this is just a train wreck of a movie, ironically, seeing as though she made Trainwreck.
Zing.
And you wonder, I think a lot of people are pushing forward Amy Schumer as a real great shining beacon of what women can do in comedy.
She's a bit of a trailblazer, isn't she, for subverting expectations?
I don't think she's good enough. I don't think she's funny enough. I don't think she's creative enough. I feel like the film is lazy, underwritten, and badly thought through, and it's kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking that this made money.
Goodness me. Phil's hands are all over the place during that review. You feel very strongly about this, I can tell. And listeners, I really want to know. I suspect some of you might well have seen this, so do let us know your thoughts on superbellybros@gmail.com or at superbellybros on Twitter. Give Phil a -1 if he's wrong and tell us why, or give us a +1 if, sadly, you have to agree with him.
I'm going to give it a D. I don't think it should be a film. I don't
Ouch.
think really you can get away with this if you're making films. You know how
it's not a small release, it's a big one.
You know how you get annoyed when you think, how on earth is this being produced? How has this got through all these rungs of sort of studio approval and things like that?
I loathed that film Life that was out recently. It wasn't offensive in any way. It was just so average. I didn't understand how it got made,
This is below average. It's bad.
Right.
And you wonder, how is that possible when supposedly it's got such a talented cast? Supposedly it's got everything going for it. It's a solid premise and they can make nothing with it.
Any bonuses, Phil?
My bonus is don't go see it. Seriously, I don't really like saying this. I do not think it's worth a ticket for anyone. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe I need to take a chill pill. Apologies if that's the case. It's very hot in this room right now. But
nice excuse. I like that.
But basically, I just cannot see anyone enjoying it. And if you did enjoy it, I'm very, very glad that you did. And I'd love to hear from you why, what worked for you, what didn't, and et cetera, et cetera. As Lois said, get in touch. But for me, don't go see it. That's my strongest recommendation. Avoid.
Phew, we better take a positive breather, Phil, and come back.
Sorry, was that too intense? I feel like I've sort of exercised my demon. This film has been an oppressive cloud since I've seen it because I'm just so furious that it exists.
Well, no, well
and
done.
Now it's gone. I'm free.
That was cathartic.
Thank you.